In the last few lectures, we learned about creating entities and repositories and how to use them with the help of TypeORM to perform database operations. Now in this lecture, we are going to talk about some more column options, specifically the date column options, and we are also going to create one more module, the profile module. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So what I want is, first of all, I want to create a new module called profile module. And then I also want to update our user module. Basically, I want to update the DTO as well as the entity class of our user module. So first of all, let me go ahead and let me create a profile module. For that, I'm opening the VS Code built-in terminal. Let me clear the terminal here. And using the nest command, let's go ahead and let's generate a module. And I want to generate profile module. The profile module has been created. As you can see, a new folder called profile has been created, and in there we have our profile module. Next, I'm going to create a controller. For that, again, I'm going to use this nest command. We want to generate a controller, and again, I'm going to call this controller as profile. And I don't want to generate the spec file for this, so I'll say no spec. So in the profile folder, now we should also have this profile controller. All right, I also want to generate a service for this profile. So again, let's say nest generate. We want to generate a service. And again, I'm going to call this service as profile. And again, I did not want to generate the spec.ts file. So again, I forgot to add no spec flag. And because of that, it has also generated the spec.ts file, but we don't need it for now. So I'm going to delete it. All right, so the profile module, profile controller, and profile service has been created here. Now in this profile folder, I'm also going to create an entity file. So if I go to user folder, we have created this user entity directly inside this user folder. In the same way, in the profile folder, I'm going to create a profile entity. So let's say profile.entity, and it is going to be a TypeScript file. So the extension will be .ts. All right, here, let's go ahead and let's export a class. And I want to call this class as profile. This is going to be an entity class. So let's decorate it with @entity decorator. And to use this @entity decorator, we need to import it from TypeORM. Okay, let's save the changes here. And now let me also open user entity. So now what I want is, let me close this terminal here. So from the user entity, I want to remove this first name and last name. So I'll cut it from here, and also the gender. So I'll cut these three columns from here, and let me go and let me put it in profile entity class. And also to use this column, we need to import it from TypeORM. Let's right click and let's click on format document. All right, and here for this profile entity also, we are going to add the ID field. So I'll copy this. It should be a primary generated column. Let me add it at the top. And again, to use this primary generated column also, we need to import it from TypeORM. Okay, so I don't want first name and last name field here in the user entity. What we want is, let's say we are going to create a Twitter-like application. So if a user wants to join Twitter, wants to register, during the registration, he has to provide a username, he has to provide his email, and he has to provide his password. So email and password field we already have here. Let me copy this column definition from here and let's paste it here. And now what we also want is, we want to have a username field. So while creating an account, the user has to provide his username, his email, and his password. And this username, it is also going to be of type varchar. And here for the username, I'll specify the length as maybe 50 or maybe 24, because we don't want the user to provide a very lengthy username. And the username should also be unique and it should not be nullable. So this is how our user entity should look like now. Let's save the changes. Now in this user entity, along with username, email, and password, I also want to have three more fields created at. It should be of type date. Then I want to have updated at. This should also be of type date. And I also want to have this deleted at. And this should also be of type date. Now, this created at field should store the date and time when a record in the user table was created. So whenever we are going to create a new user, the time when that user was created, we want to store that time in this created at field. And we don't want to provide that time with the request. Instead, when the record will be inserted in the user table, at that time it should automatically set the value of created at field to the time when that record was created. And for that, we can decorate this created at field with at create date column. So here you see we have this create date column. What this create date column will do is it will set the value of this created at field when the record, the row which we are inserting in the table, was created. And then in this updated at field, I want to store the date and time when any field of a given record in the user table was updated. For example, let's say the user updated his password. So when the password was updated, when it changed in the table row, that means that record has been updated. So when that record was updated, I want to store the date and time when the record was updated in this updated at field. And for that, we are going to decorate it with at update date column. So this update date column, it will make sure that this updated date, it gets assigned with the date and time when any column in a given record was updated. And finally, we also have this deleted at field. I'm going to decorate it with delete date column. Now what this delete date column will do is when we are going to update this delete at field, this delete date column is going to assign this delete at field with the time when we soft deleted the user. Here, I'm not talking about deleting the user record from the table. Instead, I'm talking about the soft delete. The record will be there, but it will be soft deleted. So we are going to save that delete time here for this delete at. And when this delete at is not null, when it has some date value, that means that user is soft deleted. Okay, so these are the three date column options. I hope now you understand the use of these date column options. All right, let's save the changes here. And now let's go to our profile entity. So for the profile, we want the first name of the user, the last name of the user, the gender of the user. We are also going to specify a date of birth. It is going to be of type date, and let's specify a column option. And here the type is going to be timestamp. Basically, in this date of birth field, we are going to store a timestamp. Now, this timestamp is supported in PostgreSQL, but if you are using MySQL or MS SQL, there we have date time data type. So if you're using those databases, instead of timestamp, you can use date time data type. All right, this date of birth, it can be null. So I'm going to set this nullable to true, and these two options should be enough. So here it should be date type. Then apart from this, I'm also going to have a bio field, which is going to be of type string. And here let's also decorate it with at column decorator. And there again, we are going to specify some column options. So for example, I want to set its type to text. Now why text and why not varchar? Because if you remember, when we use varchar, there we also need to specify the length of the characters which we are going to allow. But when we use text, we can store lengthy strings in that field. So here we do not need to specify the length of the character explicitly. It will allow any number of characters to be stored in that field. And bio also going to be nullable. So let's set it to true. Then I'm also going to specify profile image. This is going to be of type string. And for now, for this profile image, I'm going to set a column option, and there I'm going to specify that nullable is true. And for now, let's also specify the type as text. So here later we will decide whether we want to store a binary data in this profile image or we want to store an image URL. In that case, the profile image type text should be fine. But if we want to store a binary image, for that we will have to use another data type which can store binary data. But for now, let's keep it as text. Let's save the changes here. And I think for profile, these many fields are enough. Now what we are also going to do is we are going to update the DTOs. So let's go to create user DTO. There we do not have the first name now, so let's remove it. Maybe what I'll do is I'll keep it for now so that we will add it in the create profile DTO. Okay, we want to keep email, we want to keep password, and I'm also going to specify username. Okay, what is the max length we have specified in the user entity? For username, we have specified 24. So here also, let's change it to 24. And let's remove this is email. We want to keep this is not empty because username should not be empty. So for creating a user, we just need the email of the user, a username, and password. That's it. So in this create user DTO, we are going to keep these fields. Now let me go ahead and let me cut these fields from here. And some of you might say that I have mentioned that the DTO and the entity should be in sync. But in entity, we also have an ID, we have created it, updated it, and deleted it. But we do not have these fields in the DTO. That's because when I say the DTO and the user entity should be in sync, I simply mean that the data which we are going to get with the request, the validation which we have added on that data, and the validation which we have added in entity, that should be same. Here, when we are going to create a user, for that user, we are only going to get the email, username, and password in the request body. The ID will be auto-generated, and this created at, updated at, and deleted at, these will be set by the type ORM using these column options. So we are not going to provide these dates in the request body. So whatever is going to come with the request, we only need those fields in the DTO. And whatever validation we have added on the fields in DTO, same type of validation we should have in the entity also. Because here if I set email length as 100 and in the DTO if I set email length as 150, if a user provides an email with 150 characters, it will be validated by the DTO. But when it will be inserted in the table, there we will get an error because it will not allow 150 characters for the email column. And that's why I say that whatever validations we have added on DTO, same validation we should have on the entity also. I hope you got the point. Let's save the changes here. And let me delete this TTO. We don't need it for now. And let's also delete this TTO. We don't need it for now. Now let's go to profile. There, let me add a new folder. I'll call it as DTO. And in there, I'm going to create a new file and I'll call it create profile DTO. Okay, let me quickly verify the naming convention, how we have named it. So it is create user DTO and create profile DTO. Let me rename it. We have two dots here. All right, in this one, we are going to create and export a class. And in that class, let me go ahead and let me add the first name, last name, and gender. Let me also format this. And let me go to create user DTO. And from there, I'm going to copy this import statement because here we are importing few properties from class validator. I want to use that same properties here also. Okay. We are not using is boolean, so let's remove it. We are not using is email, that also let's remove. We are not using is number, let's remove it. And yeah, this should be okay. In the create user DTO, we are not using is number, let's remove it. We are not using is optional, let's remove this. Let's save the changes. Let's go back to create profile DTO. And there what I'm going to do is I'm going to set all these fields as optional. Okay, the first name should be optional, last name should be optional, gender should be optional, and other fields also which we are going to add, that should be optional. So here, let's also add is optional on each of these fields. Now, why I'm setting all these fields as optional is because when a user will be created, at that time only, for that user, we are going to create a profile. And when that profile will be created, there all these fields will be null initially. Later, once the user has created his account and he has logged in, after that he can go ahead and he can edit his profile details. He can add a name, last name, gender, bio, profile image, etc. But the record in the profile table should be created when a user has created his account. I hope you got the point. So let's check what other fields we have in the profile entity. So we have first name, last name, we have added gender, then we also have this date of birth. So let's add this date of birth in the create profile. It is going to be of type date, and I'm going to add is optional on this. I'm going to add is date because here we want to store a date value, and here we have is optional 2 times. So let me remove one, and here let me remove this is not empty because it can be empty. That's why we have used this is optional. Same thing I'll do here, and let's also add a question mark here to make it optional. Okay, then let's go back to profile entity and let me close this create user DTO and user entity here. Then we have the bio field. Let's copy this. Let's specify it here, and it is going to be of type string. So here I'm going to use is string and is optional. I'm not going to set any maximum or minimum length. And finally, we also have this profile image, which is again of type string. So let's paste it here. It is going to be of type string. And again, let me use this is string and is optional on this profile image. Here also, I'm not going to set any max or min length. All right, let's save the changes. Now here, we have not specified any relation between the profile entity and user entity, but we are going to do that in our coming lectures. But for now, this should be it. In the user entity, let me go ahead and let me open this user entity. We might also want to save the profile ID, but for now, I will not do that. So with this, let's save the changes. Let's go to terminal and see if we have any error. So we do have some error in the user controller, and in the user controller. Okay, let me remove these two imports because we have deleted these DTOs. Okay, let's save the changes. Let's go back to terminal. Okay, here we have this error unable to connect to database. This is because since we have changed our user entity, if you see here we have this error message, username of relation user contains null values. So what we are going to do is let's go to our table and let me delete this table. Yes. And now let's go back. Let's save the changes. Let's go back to terminal. So I think we need to stop and restart the process. Let's go ahead and let's try to restart the process by running npm run start dev. And now it has executed successfully. Let's go to our database. Let's refresh the tables. And now you'll see we have one table. And let me simply select view edit data first 100 rows. So currently we don't have any record in this table because we have not inserted any record after recreating this table. That's why you will not see any records here, but at least this user table is created. Now you might ask why the profile table is not created here, why we have only one table. Let's understand that in our next lecture.